4.
Good afternoon, happy Thursday, and of course, happy New Year. This is the very first episode of 2022. For today at Embr, I am your host, Robb Vallozzi Communications. Happy to be speaking to you live from quarantine, and I'm also joined by my co-host, who's live at one of our businesses' homes in the British Virgin Islands, our head of strategy, Dominique. Jason, how you doing here?
Thanks, Rob. Yeah, doing amazing. The view here is absolutely beautiful, and yeah, I've actually spent the whole holidays here with, and yeah, we took this time, some little R&R, but ultimately ended up working still and meet partners here. But here, which is very different from Florida here, Rob.
So you folks know too as well, if we have some technical issues, Jason is in the British Virgin Islands. The internet connection there isn't the best. We're also too are going to have some special guests brought to you as well today. Andrew Cunningham, he'll be joining us a little bit later with some exciting announcements. But first, I do want to speak with Jason about how bullish we are for 2022 and what we see coming forward on the horizon. We have some excellent products, in place for the next for quarter one, and really our vision for when it comes to creators going from ideation to launch, what those resources and tools will be, and that vision really is crystallized. Jason, do you want to kind of get into that and what that means for the future and some of the stuff we have coming on the horizon?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if everybody's hearing me correctly. Maybe you can help me gauge that, Rob. I imagined that before it wasn't working too well. A1?
Yeah, A1 to go, brother.
So yeah, we were just going over a few minutes ago, Rob and I, on sort of the retrospective year and how we started working in this, how and sort of what we're going to in 2022. And we've been saying high level mission where it's all about helping people ideation to launch, and a lot of you have been saying so how is this going, and how is how does the launch pad fit into all of this, how does the crowd sale and all those sorts of tools that we've been sort of saying to all of you. But I think that fundamentally, I think our positioning has crystallized in regards to what we want to build and how we want to build it and how we actually want to bring it into market as well. So as Rob is saying, we're extremely bullish about these next couple of quarters coming, specifically in regards to, as you know, we've been building this buy button with as a TBD name in the works, but I think where I want to head with is, if you're familiar with the startup space, pretty much a lot of those things that can help a business, launch, have been around for probably say, a decade, and a lot of these services have matured and plateaued. If you look at, and we're referring to Stripe often, this is basic sort of inspiration for us, because there when they first started, and before that there wasn't really anything other than like your classic PayPal and things like that. So their journey into where so that entrepreneurs like back then didn't have to build it because it for entrepreneurs to, API driven or hosted payment gateways. A lot of them still did because they wanted to create the best experience possible. They wanted to also, the experience of the customer. And this that we're driven by, want to make sure that entrepreneurs that they experience and that they can also offer the best in class flow and experience for their investors, their customers. So this of tools that are going to be sort of a freemium SaaS approach that can actually be charged on a monthly basis using crypto. It's really, and these are things that we're going to be working on right now. So it's pretty much is within now, and we're super excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a quick production note too, as well, for those that are listening live that may be having trouble with some audio. This will not be the case with our posted podcast. You can always re-listen, whether that's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or they'll be on YouTube. So for those of viewing live that might be having some trouble, don't worry. You'll be always able to catch our recorded show in the future if you've missed something out. I do agree. I mean, the products and services with such an emphasis on just even on the investor end when it comes to discovery and being able to navigate a space that's like this, that's so set, really gives creators a leg up. That's something that they don't have now, and also with that ease of accessibility, doing what we're doing, with the buy button. These are things that are, already a standard that's expected when it comes to anything that's on, the web commerce world as we speak. And to be able to have, really not just these things no longer just be, vaporware or, ideas that are in the ether. These are things that we've really actually locked down, products and services that we're going to be able to deliver, software as a service most especially. And this is no longer things that are prototype phase. I mean, we're going to start seeing these products launch within the next month or two, at least in a beta format. And the speed of which we're working, I think, there's always levels, room for improvement. If you want to talk a little bit later about, how we're onboarding more people on development, the side of things to be able to get this rolling. But I mean, when it comes to our vision and our roadmap, which we'll be releasing, I think we're moving at a speed that this crypto, the pace that it moves at, which is, I'd say, 10 times faster than you'd have in a normal commerce space.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is the hardest thing to comprehend, is the speed at which the space is moving, both on the expectations, the community, the customer, but also to be able to ramp up on the other side. And that has proven to be some challenge. HR and, our goals are to reach X and Y and Z in terms of milestone, but to be able for those, we need to find and get access to in multiple different spheres of expertise, whether on the front end, whether on the back end, whether on the design, to really reach and deliver those roadmaps. So this is sort of what we've been reflecting on in the last couple of weeks, which is, starting at the beginning of the project, in terms of product delivery and design and all those sorts of things, and how we make sure that going forward these aren't issues anymore, and that we can move at the speed of crypto, but also
class talent.
Say, you know, that yes, we've find solutions for this, and you know, you as a community will be able product delivery coming out at extreme, you know, but without losing any quality. Because with speed, sometimes what happens is that you have to accept of product design or development, which, as you know, and you know, Rob, we've discussed this many times in regards to Embr. It's all about best in class, you know. So yeah.
I do agree when it comes to, you know, this happens a lot. People see it when it comes to, you know, most tech companies when they're delivering new versions of applications or new products. They're always trying to hit a deadline. And for in you know, the work in development, you know, the idea of, you know, they have a scrum manager and they do these things called development sprints, where literally they lock themselves in a room for 4 hours at a day to just make sure they pile through this sprint to be able to have a deliverable at the end of the week. And a lot of times the quality suffers. So, you know, we want to be able to work at that kind of pace and speed and deliver on our promise this podcast is about, but to do so without the trade-off being quality. And this is something that's all too familiar, and I'm sure people, you know, the idea of delays and stuff that needs to be, you know, patched and updated, whether that's in the tech world, the finance world, even something with like Ethereum 2.0, which now for what, a year and a half that's been delayed and pushed back again. So, you know, we want to use their experience to drive our decision making.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to take this opportunity to probably hint at a few things that, you know, we believe are staples in the DeFi space that Embr is going to be bringing. You know, you're well aware of you know, our checkout interface that we and fine tuning right now, and we're actually also putting together all the steps and the processes to put together what we could call, you know, a sales team that go out there and all these great from this lack daily you know, volumes in terms of what is you know, what is performing on PancakeSwap, and you can see that a lot of those projects have millions of dollars of trading every single day. But then when you go on their website, they basically either they put a link and they direct you off-site to go to the decentralized to process, you know, to purchase their asset, or they basically just write the token address and you figure it out from there, you know, which is even worse. So this is, we feel, is going to be a massive staple. But then again, so, and these needs and these are often arise, and this is the case for multiple highly successful startups. If you take an example with Slack, which used to be a game development company, very unsuccessful one, you know, the founder, you know, initially Stuart Butterfield started Flickr. He sold Flickr, and then he went on development. But what he realized is that communications, you know, internal communication, were at the all-time worst because everybody was sending out emails to everyone, and then where's the thread, who said what, the latest, and it was so complicated. And they just decided to, going to build something internally, and we're going to be using that. And ultimately, other agencies, other startups, they were like, "What are you guys using?" "Oh, we built this internally." And that's, when you scratch your own itch, sometimes you realize that the problem that you're actually experiencing is not so different than a lot of other projects they're experiencing. So it comes down to a lot of that we're, as entrepreneurs in this space. And we always told you that, this podcast is the prime example of what we're learning every single week. And sometimes what we learn is opportunities that we're going to gun for. We're just going to, we feel that it's such a pain point for us that it has to be a pain point for, if not thousands of other projects out there. And one of those things, and this is where I want to hint at,
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, I mean, there's an old saying, necessity is the mother of invention. And, us even doing this podcast on a day-to-day basis, even as we talk through, and even after the podcast, some of these things sprout, and a lot of these deliverables that you're about to get into.
Yeah. And, we're going to keep some materials for the upcoming shows, but, we've been tinkering around and we've been building for something we feel that pretty much every single token out there will be using beyond even like the checkout, because the fundamental of operating a token sort of powered startup is that it's very much sense that base, you have everything that's on the blockchain, and if you want to know how your token is behaving, like in stats, where do you actually go to get that information? And you, Rob, as head of communication, you need to have access to data if you want to make enlightened decision on the moment, and that are easily accessible. You can elaborate on what type of data you could need, but ultimately every single person within an organization needs to have access to data, and our relies on token data. And unfortunately, there is nothing out there that gives us sort of an overview of how our token is behaving in all the different aspects of the token. And we have a special guest this morning. We have Andrew, who's just joined in.
Andrew Cunningham. Andrew, Happy New Year, buddy.
Happy New Year. Morning, or good afternoon, I should say, where you go there. And Happy New Year to you, Rob, and also to you, Jason, and Happy New Year to everybody listening in or watching.
Yeah, thanks. Andrew. It's a bit early for you today, but thanks for joining. It's always a pleasure to have you join the show. We were just Rob and I were just going over some we're sort of considering here, and I was just sometimes I have some rants on this product that we're to start working on, which is an reporting for anyone or use a token to drive their business, which and Andrew, you can obviously elaborate on this as well. Any business or any person at any part of their roles and responsibility needs data, and unfortunately what we found is that in this space currently, it's very hard for us to easily have access to these insights to run our business.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, data is so critical, and as you said, people just don't have that. So, you know, one of the things that we're really looking to try and do is bring that to them. And it's an interesting blend between technology and crypto. You know, we've long thought that the crypto industry as a whole really needs more, technology. It needs that side, that blend, and that's one of the things that we're really trying to bring. We've got a lot of experience in technology delivery with yourself, Jason, with myself, and also with James. And it's going to be really exciting this year to try and, bring that to the fore. We've been around now for about a month and a half as a project. It feels like a lot longer because we have been working on this project, for a little bit longer than that. But there are a lot of things that I guess we're working on in the background. And, I do know that crypto is down at the moment. We all know that it's a red time for crypto. However, personally, I'm not looking at the charts because, we see what we're doing and we're confident in, as you said, the dashboard and a number of other products that we're working on and where that can lead us to.
Yeah. And I think we can, while you're there, because I know you've been, because we all saw your message to the community with James, and we were all curious. I mean, I know, but a lot of the community, because you were hinting at, we've been, talking about the app, we've been talking about the Embr Buy button, we were talking about embr.org. So I think it's a great opportunity for you to maybe, give a few insights into what has been discussed. I mean, what we comfortable, telling to the community.
Yeah, look, I guess there's sort of 3 or 4 main things that we're focusing on at the moment. We're really pushing out that, the buy button, or the Embr box as it is. We've got this really elegant, method on our website at the moment around how to purchase tokens in Embr. We want to expand that into, being able to purchase using credit card. We have a partner for that in Wire, and we've mentioned this a few times, obviously. And, obviously, Jason, you've been involved in that relationship, and yourself as well, Rob. You've been involved in that, which, I really appreciate. And, there's a lot there that we're going to be doing, into this year with Wire. And I won't go into too much depth, but also there's a few things that we're going to be doing with Hacken, who are the organization that did, obviously the security testing around our contracts, smart contracts and so forth. So there's some really exciting things coming around that, so that you'll soon be able to purchase tokens using your credit card directly from our website. And we think that that's going to be a really critical point because, at the moment, if you go and tell one of your friends or family, hey, go buy some Embr, someone wants to buy $200 worth of Embr tokens, it's a really convoluted process to do that at the moment. And we all know that crypto has that, complex touch point. You've got to go and buy this from here, and then you've got to convert it to here, and then you've got to go to this pancake swap thing, and someone has a laugh, and you're like, no, don't laugh. I've got to important. Go to pancake swap and do this, and then get this, and then you got to go and get yourself some maple syrup, and you got to do this, and then you got to go onto here, and it's like, wait, I just want to buy $200 worth of tokens, man. I don't want to spend a day and a half doing this. And we've all been there, right? So we want to fix this. We want to try and resolve this, and not just for us. I guess greedily, from a sense, I want to make it Embr tokens, but there's a problem here that we want to look at for a lot of crypto projects, and there's something there that we're trying to Wire and with Hacken, and it's going to be really exciting as that starts to come to the fore. One of the things, obviously, and looking at the app itself, how we actually work through and pull together the Embr app. That's something that James has been really working through quite closely. And he and I spent a bit of time over Christmas, over the break doing that, and also in person. And, it's going to be fun to see that come together, because when we put this app out, it's not just an app for Embr, it's an app for the whole BSC chain. So you'll be able to actually follow and track hundreds, thousands of projects, on BSC. And we'll then also be actually pushing that into Matic and Ethereum networks. So using one app, you'll be able to follow multiple projects on multiple chains. And we're actually building that future as well to actually potentially become a wallet in the future. We could make it a wallet today if we wanted to, but we don't want to do that because we think it's important to crawl before you walk. There's a lot of security aspect so forth in becoming a wallet. So we just want to start simple and start easy and make that an app that allows you to track projects. But, when we consider the power of using that, buy option with credit card without having to jump in and do all of those, pancake things, we think there's going to be some really cool things there. And when I talk about that buy, that buy button, purchasing Embr with credit card, I think, I should say that we are actually looking at extending that to be able to purchase just about any token on the market. So this is not going to be something that is specific just to purchasing Embr from our website, but the way we're setting it up, you'll be able to buy just about any token on the market out there. So we're going to make some significant gains. And when we've gone through some of what we're doing with some major industry players, they've looked at what we're doing and they've sort of said, you can't do this. And we've shown, what we're doing and how we're doing, and we've shown proof of technology and proof of capability, and some of the companies that have said, you can't do this, and they're partnered with us to do it. So, but the app is coming along really well, and being able to track different projects and create watch lists and do all of those sorts of things. It's pretty exciting.
Andrew, do you maybe want to get into, since I have both of you guys on here, I know that for January and February are some really big months for when it comes to product launches, which we're trying to deliver. If you want to give them an idea of time frame, if there will be a beta testing to start off with, it'll be closed and an open beta test. What will be the process there, and what can some of our investors and people out there in the space expect to see, and how that will be actually launched?
Yeah, absolutely, Rob. We are looking at doing a beta period. I think it's always a good thing to do that. At this point in time, we're looking to do a beta towards the end of January, middle of February. So it'll be a closed beta initially. We do have the capacity to probably onboard about maybe 500 to 1,000 people during that closed beta period. And as I said, we're looking at actually bringing this not just to Embr community, but there's also potential there where we could bring that to people like external to the Embr community who want to track other projects that is perhaps doesn't have most don't. So we're looking at that sort of late January, early mid-February to be able to put a closed beta out and along as we go. But that could also impact depending on what we do with this buy button. There's still a little bit of work to do around that, and and then there's work that we're also engaged in with Embr.org. And I know, Jason, you've mentioned that probably a couple of times, but we probably haven't gone into full detail yet around what we're doing there. But we do have a very busy product schedule, and I know for myself and for you, product delivery is where some of our capabilities lie. So it's going to be a really interesting first quarter, because we're really hoping to bring together bring to market in the first quarter what company would bring to market in the first year or two. We're really hoping to actually bring that aggressively forward in crypto timelines.
Jason, anything you want to add to that as
well? Yeah, fun times.
It's
fun times ahead. I'm to be honest, sometimes I'm like, oh, honey, did you listen to the podcast lately? She's like, oh, I don't have time. Oh, sometimes I'm happy she doesn't listen. Because she'll be like,
No, okay, but
this really.
we said this on the
You're like, she's like, I won't be seeing you for a long time.
What is? They say you'll be busy for the next 6 months. I promise you, we'll be able to take some holiday. I promise you. But
well,
yeah,
you just had a bit of a rest, to be fair. So, I saw some of the photos there, and I was vicariously living through some of those cocktails you were drinking.
No comment.
No, I think it's actually really good that everyone has a bit of a break, over the Christmas to New Year period. Even we're very busy, and I know that we've continued to work and do things, but we've also had a little bit of family time, which I think is really good. Coming into what's going to be a very busy, quarter and a busy year. I think it's good that we regenerate some of the batteries, but yeah, it's going to be exciting.
To clarify, because I know some people are kind of, seeing some questions out there from the community. I understand too the relationship with Wire when it comes to, our buy button as of right through their wallet. The fiat part of it is going to be, when you can actually buy with a credit card using our partner with Wire. They're projected to have that launched probably sometime mid to end of this month. Do you guys want to talk about on what maybe the timeline might be on what products? Is there going to be an emphasis on the buy button first and then the tracker app? Is Embr.org going to be the last puzzle piece in this combination of products? Here's what more about what they can expect and how that really relates to how we generate revenue as a company. Jason?
For sure. I mean, in regards to there's multiple different elements in there, Rob. Obviously, we won't have time in for every single elements, but one thing is for sure is we've been very much aligned months before Wire was ready to release this BSC. But sure that BSC is on Wire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So now, how is this going to sort of be delivered? On our is that we need to get the app first, and it's always been sort of our roadmap. But know that in the background, these elements of making sure that Wire is integrated and that we have on-ramp, and then beyond on-ramp, which is how can we take the fiat and purchase those BEP20 tokens. This is all mapped out, and it's just a question of and I said earlier in the show, the biggest challenge, always one of the biggest challenge for any startup right now, this is where we want to focus and double down. And now, obviously that we've successfully raised amount of funds, get things delivered, we're doubling down on talent. And this is what is going to start, appearing, the size of our team is going to dramatically change. And ultimately, with revenue generating products, we'll also be able to scale much faster than what our initial pre-sales have been able to give us in terms of runway. So yeah, this, I don't know if you're still there, Rob.
I'm here. Yep.
The camera,
absolutely.
but, yep. So that's the short answer. At least that's the answer I have.
Andrew, anything you want to add to that at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for that, Jason. And it's I think the people watching and listening at the moment I'm probably looking at, some of the things that we're doing and really hoping that we can actually go north at a time where the market is probably a little bit red. And I think the way to do that is to skip away from, projects that are, I guess, many more just, names or brands that are moving and progressing, you know, because of what they say, not because of what they do. And we're really looking to be, different to that, because, we want to be something that is, viable, long term. And this has always been the case, with this project. This is why there is, an extensive vesting period, 6 months for the public and 9 months for the private, period. And, that vesting period is something that gets brought up a lot. And it's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a bad thing because at a point in time where the industry is a little bit red, it means that you do have, money invested in something. But it's also a good thing because, at the point that we bring a lot of this product together and we start to actually push to market, we think that this is going to bring some candles to our project. This is going to, push us in a really good, forward momentum. And the benefit there is that people will have, tokens that they may not otherwise have had. They may have already exited potentially. So, we're all in this together. We all have investment of time, money, tokens, effort, and everything else in between. And, we also have investment of, reputation. Reputational investment is a very, I guess, significant investment to some extent as well. So, it's an interesting start to the year. It's, the 7th of January, and, we're coming up to, I think, Monday, the 10th of January, and that's when a lot of people will be starting to go back to work again. And I think the year starts to really, become whole around then. And, we've got a lot of things happening. We're bringing on design partners. We're bringing on new engineers. We're going into a really busy phase. And I know, Jason, you'll be back on deck again, full-time next week, which is really exciting. And I'm really looking forward to that, and to having a lot of your direction and guidance, in this, executive team, as you've been giving, to us, gracefully for the past couple of months. So it's going to be a good time, I think, moving forward. And I'm, really bullish on, working through that.
And just to add to that too, as well, regardless of, the charts up, down, or sideways, right now a little bit red, but everything that we've done when it comes to our vesting period, and when it comes to, even now we have staking, and, soon to have a liquidity pool staking coming, very shortly as well, that really we've designed to work in parallel with the entire crypto space, the entire sector, as opposed to being in tandem with it. Because a lot of these projects, as you can see, once, some, as you mentioned before, Andrew, that, whether they're just on name, or that, when one of them takes a dive, the entire market takes a hit. And we really are designing this and approaching this as a way that we're not really going to be entirely working in tandem with these other projects on the same way they're doing it. So that way we can focus entirely on having deliverables, adding to the liquidity promises, and with tools like staking and vesting in place, it keeps people from, making emotional choices, emotional decisions, or being very generous when it comes to these APY awards, because, people are putting trust in this project, and it gives us the ability and to really hedge against volatility, to work and deliver on our vision. And I think we lost Andrew for the time being. But Jason, do you want to go ahead and add anything to that?
Yeah.
I know you guys. Well, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what Andrew was mentioning in regards to, the thing and everything. I think yes, initially, a lot of people, mention that it's something new, and obviously quite used to locked into something. But one thing that I is, and I want to share this this milestone that we've, is, the vesting was something that was sort of mandatory. If you won early at an advantageous price, you had to agree to vesting. That we've been out and we've worked and released staking, which is something that is totally voluntary. No one's forcing you to lock in your token for X amount of time. What in terms of behavior is that, beyond, yes, the fact passive income by just holding your tokens and staking them, the broader message that we're hearing is that no matter how people trust in us, and the milestone we've been this amount of stakings that has just been almost doubling every. And I think, I don't have the latest figures, but I'm pretty confident that we're probably almost very near like 14 or 15 million tokens. We've reached 12 million tokens staked probably last week. And maybe you have some latest figures, Andrew, but this is absolutely astonishing in terms of data.
Yeah, it don't have any further update, on that. But it is astonishing. It's such a significant portion of vested tokens that are going into staking. And what that tells us is, that people are enthusiastic and confident about the roadmap, that we're undertaking around, the delivery cycle that this project is working to achieve. And it's a positive thing, and it is well heard, and we appreciate that a lot. As a founding team, and as a project, it's significant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to add to this. You folks that are listening, it'd be like, well, why don't you know the exact amount of tokens that are being staked, and staked, and all those sorts of things? Well, it goes back to exactly what I mentioned before. Us operating this business don't have, it's not an easy thing to know these information, but we do need. So this is, we will be down on this dashboard product to provide us, yes, as project leaders, but also other projects out there, able to have access to their at on demand.
Yeah, I don't think that's funny, because I actually was going to right into what you're talking about previously, is that unfortunately there is no way for a project to really have a one place to get a complete picture with the token, who's staking, how long their staking periods are for, how the token is performing. Again, just like when it comes to communications on the project or hiring talent, even that, something that's so small as simple collection of how your business is operating, even that is entirely segmented. So this goes, full circle back to what really we're about here at Embr, is this really being a gateway to the decentralized world, whether that's you as a creator going from ideation to launch, or you who understands this like the back of their hand, or someone who's brand new. We believe that Embr will be that solution that fills the gap. Now,
yeah.
Oh, Andrew, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I was just going to agree with you, Rob. And as you said, what we believe around Embr, and that's what it comes down to. Everyone on the team believes this. The community believes this, and that's what fuels us to progress forward.
No, absolutely. And just so you guys understand too, thank you for bearing with us. We are literally broadcasting and recording live from 3 different countries, 2 different hemispheres, and we have executive teams here for that really cover, you know, both sides of the world. And when it comes to, you know, ramping up and really bringing on, especially the development side of things, I think when it comes to design and copy and really the creative part, we really got that locked down. And right now with getting into engineering, ramping that up, and the level of leadership that requires, and the 2 of you do have the experience and when it comes to, you know, really launching applications, you know, and having those deliverables. And right now, since we are ramping up, we're having some changes internally about how. Do you guys want to get a little bit of discussion on
Yeah,
that?
look, I might jump into that, Rob. Yeah, I might jump into that, Rob. I think everybody sees just how you know, and how busy Jason, you know, has been in this project from day one. I know that, you know, for myself as CEO, it's been, you know, greatly appreciated, all of the work and the contributions that you know, Jason has made, you know, and the experience that he brings to this project. So I think now is probably a good time to announce that Jason is actually going to be taking on a co-CEO role with myself. So Jason and I will actually run the CEO role together. And I think it's a really good thing that we're doing this. Jason has effectively been doing a lot of this work anyway, you know, working quite closely on the strategy side, working on a lot of the partnership side of things. And it's really good for me. I'm in a different time zone, as most of you know, to where a lot of, you know, EST is where a lot of work is done, and that is Jason's time zone, which means there's a lot of meetings, a lot of sessions, a lot of you know, conversations that Jason can have with people, you know, while I'm still sound asleep, which has happened to date. And you know, I think we're going to really enjoy, you know, sharing that position together, particularly you know, where I'm going to be a lot more focused around, you know, product delivery and some of those sorts of mechanisms. And Jason's very much focused on strategy and partnerships. And I think we're going to do well together in a different time zone to that role within the organization as best to both of our abilities. So yeah, so now is a good time to introduce Jason as the co-chief executive with myself, and a warm welcome to that role for you, Jason.
Thanks, Andrew. Like you're saying, you know, this is something. Titles are titles. Ultimately, you know, you know, I've clicked on the YouTube thing to say that wasn't going to be a kids show, so my title has always been. So it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter the title, but ultimately, like you're saying, you know, this is, and I think one of the reason actually why we've been able to perform well is that a lot of our roles are very, you know, are not necessarily our roles, but our backgrounds are very complementary, and we've been able to actually run this business 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And while I'm asleep, you're running the ship while you're asleep. And what we've noticed is that this sort of cadence, this sort of rhythm, we want to keep it going. And sometimes having you not being present to have those executive decisions and to push things faster has sort of dragged us in some situations where I wasn't sort of in position to actually say, yeah. So right now, with this change and this you know, me being able to be more executive on some of those high level decisions, just means that, you know, in the project, we're just going to be able to move even faster. And that's the actual bottom line. You know, we're always assessing what, and we make sure it's no longer there. So, you know, broadly speaking, you know, looking forward in down, what is stopping us? You know, we'd be more efficient. So all of these things we're constantly. So very much happy to now bear this title. It's in terms of the organization, other than making it even more performant, fast. But yeah,
As you said, it just releases some of the bottleneck.
Yeah.
No, it just releases some of the
Yeah,
bottleneck around
absolutely.
decision making and so forth. You know, you don't need to refer, and it also means that for some of the partners that we're working with and some of the meetings that we have, you know, they know that they're talking to a key decision maker. So it also means that, you know, we progress further, you know, quicker, and everything we can do, as you said, to progress, you know, quicker forward is a good thing. Rob.
I couldn't be more excited, and I think that, you know, really it's, you know, like Jason was saying, as a title and name only, when it comes to the general public and how the company operates, you know, this is a smooth process. No one will notice really any changes. It's just more of a way to, as you said, to have some clarity to when it comes to our partners and when it comes to, you know, our potential, you know, clients in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys, I know we have not only much questions from the community. I know we're having some technical difficulties here. For you guys want to add anything else before we get out of here? I know this has been an exciting year happening, 2022, deliverables that we have going on. We are really bullish, regardless of what the charts say. We always see the horizon and we're pushing forward. You guys want to add anything before we get out of here?
Look, not a lot. I mean, when you say, you know, we are bullish and regardless of the charts, that there's some small part of me that loves the challenge. You know, we have everything that we need to our disposal to execute on this. Sometimes the further red the charts are, the more opportunity it gives to an organization or to a group like us, who is looking quite, you know, steadily at progressing, you know, product development to market and, you know, utility development and services. So, you know, I see this as a massive benefit because people are going to be looking for projects that are actually working to achieve things, not just have a pretty logo or a pretty name. So, you know, as things go red, I see this as opportunity for, you know, funds and for investment, you know, to funnel into strong projects like ours and like other ones, you know, at market. So I'm really bullish on where we're going in 2022. I think we have a fantastic team, and I think we've got a lot of opportunity ahead of us. There'll be a lot of hard work, and I'm really looking forward to being more involved even than what I already have been, but also being you know, a deeper conduit to the community as well. And so sort of jumping on today at Embr maybe once a month or something and giving some updates and just letting people know that you know, I'm about, that I'm working and we're doing things. And yeah, I'm really enthused with the staking and the level of I guess commitment that the community is showing around that. I know that for me, all of my tokens are staked. You know, that's an important personal decision for me to make, and you know, I'm looking at you know, over the horizon at what we can achieve together as a team and as a community.
Andrew, well said. Thank you so much for all that you've doing. I can't wait to spend the rest of this new year with you. We're happy to have you as a guest anytime. Jason, do you want to add anything else there as our new co-CEO as a sign out?
No, I'm ready to rock and full throttle on Monday, and really looking forward to yeah, this crazy ass Q1 that is ramping up to be absolutely magic. We love it. That's what we do, and that's why we do this.
Awesome, fantastic. And next week we'll be back here on all on 12 cylinders. This is Today at Embr. You can catch us live every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you happen to miss us live, you can always catch us where you get your favorite podcast, whether that is on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, even Amazon Music. Catch us on Facebook, YouTube, regardless of the platform, Twitch. We will be here. My name is Robb Vallozzi, Head of Communications of the Embr Project, here with one of your hosts and with my co-host and now co-CEO, Dominique. Jason, thank you so much. Andrew, thank you so much. Everyone in the Embr community, have a happy new year. We can't wait to see you in this amazing quarter. Take it easy, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.